Mark Rogers TV with your Week 2 college football predictions. We hit on 20 of 22 straight in Week 1. Of course, most of those games have the blowout variety, so the work was pretty light. We did hit 13 and drop just 9 against the spread. 59%. We'll take that just about every time out. Okay, moving on to Thursday night, we've got a nice matchup in Stillwater, Oklahoma, with the 9th-ranked Cowboys hosting Arizona. These two teams mixed it up in the Alamo Bowl last year, with Oklahoma State winning 36-10. Arizona brings back Nick Foles at quarterback, Jerron Kreiner at wide receiver. He's got a nice little wide receiver duel with Justin Blackmon of Oklahoma State. Arizona decimated along the offensive and defensive lines from last season, and Oklahoma State wins this in similar fashion as in the Alamo last year, 36-10. They cover the 13-point spread and, of course, win outright. On Friday night, we've got a nice cross-sectional matchup with Arizona State hosting Mizzou. This one flying under the radar, but very important in measuring the barometer of these two football teams. The Sun Devils possibly have the best defense in the Pac-12. Mizzou struggled on offense in their opener against Miami of Ohio, winning just 17-6. But we like Mizzou in this one against the spread. Arizona State wins at home, but Missouri covers the 7.5. Take the Tigers plus 7.5. Moving on to Saturday's action, we've got Wisconsin and Oregon State. Of course, we should just move on, right? Oregon State lost to Sacramento State in overtime. Wisconsin looked dominant on offense. Let's repeat, Wisconsin looked dominant on offense. The rush defense was very vulnerable against UNLV, and Oregon State racked up 260 rushing in their loss in the opener. So here's how to play it. Wisconsin, of course, wins the game at home, but Oregon State take them plus the 20.5. We've also got Iowa State. Hawkeyes win it and cover the 7 points as well. Ohio State-Toledo, the last time the Buckeyes took on Toledo, they won it 38-0 2 years ago. They can certainly cover the 18 in Columbus. Mississippi State-Auburn, this one an interesting one because, of course, the Tigers had to squeak it out last week against Utah State. Mississippi State, one of the up-and-coming teams around the country under Dan Mullen. The odds makers have overreacted, though, on this one. Auburn, a 6.5-point underdog. Mississippi State wins it on the Plains, but Auburn take them plus 6.5. Oregon, Nevada, take Nevada plus the 26. Of course, the Ducks win the game outright. Virginia Tech and East Carolina. The Pirates look strong in the first half against South Carolina, but lost by 19. Take Virginia Tech and give the 17.5 points there. Stanford-Duke, take the Cardinal, lay the 20.5 against the Blue Devils. We've got Alabama-Penn State at Beaver Stadium. Tide won it last year 24-3. They, of course, had Greg McElroy, the experienced quarterback last year. Both offenses in turmoil with quarterback issues and strong defenses. The Tide, the better team. This going to be a good game, but the Tide wears down the Nittany Lions in the fourth quarter, so take Bama straight and lay the 10. Tide wins it by more than 10. South Carolina, Georgia, key matchup in the SEC. South Carolina with some issues at quarterback, Stephen Garcia and Connor Shaw, but the Bulldogs have issues all over the place, 6-7 last year, and they didn't come out as expected against Boise State. Georgia at home, but take the Gamecocks and lay the 3. Nebraska-Fresno State. Nebraska wins it, but take Pat Hill's crew on the road. We know that they love to play the BCS Buster role, so take Fresno State plus 27.5. Texas BYU, take the Longhorns and take them at home with the 7 points. So it's Texas minus 7 in that pick. Florida, UAB, take UAB plus 23, but the Gators do win it straight up. Arkansas, New Mexico, of course the Hogs win it, but take New Mexico. It's 36 points there. Notre Dame and Michigan. That, of course, the first night game in the Big House all time. Michigan's getting 3.5 points. Notre Dame lost last week. The Wolverines won against Western Michigan. I like Notre Dame in this game to bounce back. They hurt Michigan offensively last year for 535 yards at Notre Dame, despite Denard Robinson pulling it out. The Irish will rack up tons of yardage. Greg Madison's defense better, but still really bad. Notre Dame wins it, and they cover the 3.5 on the road. And finally, we've got Michigan State, Florida Atlantic. And the Spartans win this one at home, but not by 32.5. Take FAU plus 32.5. That's Mark Rogers TV, Week 2 selections for a college football Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.